When Ko Ko Naing Htut came to Taiwan 36 years ago, he hoped he would be the last of his generation to have to flee his country. But over the past 3 years, he has spent his weekends and evenings organizing rallies in support of the people of Myanmar who are putting up resistance against the country's military rulers. He founded the Taiwan-Myanmar Civil Association, a non-governmental organization to galvanize support against the military regime in the Southeast Asian country.
一个脸书的粉丝团，然后说我开始会要有一些缅甸那边要需要的抗疫的，他们有困难的医疗的，我们开始要捐款。
Myanmar has been in turmoil since the military launched a coup overthrowing the democratically elected government on February 1st, 2021. It sparked long-running nationwide protests which were eventually crushed by the junta's tightening grip on the country and its freedoms. For Ko Ko, it's reminiscent of the reason he fled his homeland. He was heavily involved in the 1988 pro-democracy protests which peaked in August that year.
8月8号全部都是我参加缅甸的最大的有历史来的最大的那个民主运动里面的参加一个运动者，但是那个时候是我参加是算是很小的一位，因为我爸爸是军人，我是我爸爸养的，所以说我怕我爸爸也是两力到为了我，所以我最后是我妈妈派到别的国家，后来来到台湾。
That event was known as the 8888 Uprising, as university students spearheaded the protests and rallies against the coup. At least 3,000 people were killed in that crackdown by the Myanmar army, which displaced thousands more. Back then, Ko Ko was one of the student protester leaders at the then Rangoon University. The crackdown by the military regime forced him to take refuge in Taiwan in December 1988. Decades on, the civil war in Myanmar, sparked by the February 2021 coup, has brought the former student activist back on the streets.
我记得那个时候是我一个人都不认识，帮我做了一个路权，然后是第一次我参加这边游行的，那个时候是几乎是大概有500个人左右，这个华新街红色的衣服，安德迪的红色的游行。帮我们的民主自由。然后3月21号，在中间地铁站那边，大概有1300多个人，我们继续在游行。
The 57-year-old holds Taiwan as an example for the future of his motherland. The Economist's Democracy Index named Taiwan the top fully democratic country in Asia and number 10 in the world in February this year. The East Asian nation is also home to a large number of Myanmar immigrants who relocated to Taiwan to escape repression and bloodshed from the country's many violent coups. Young Wan Li moved to Taiwan with her parents after the 1988 coup.
这群缅甸移民来到台湾，为什么会来到台湾？是因为在缅甸1960年代的时候，那时候缅甸有政变，那时候缅甸发生了政变，然后后续也有一些排华，然后也有一些排外的政策，所以大家就是会想尽办法的离开缅甸。
Like most of the immigrants from Myanmar, Young's family lives in New Taipei City's Huaxin Street, popularly known as Burma Street or Myanmar Street. The area houses the largest settlement of Burmese Chinese immigrants from Myanmar in Taiwan. Various signs and other cultural elements of Myanmar are still visible in this bustling locality. Among those, Mingalar Par, the Myanmar word for hello, with which Young welcomes the visitors at her tea house.
2023年的1月呢，我们也开了一个实体的空间，名字取叫3季。那这个3季它也是缅甸语，然后它在缅甸语的意思就是体验跟试试看的意思。我们希望在这个空间里面，就是能够以体验出发，然后把缅甸街的这些文化啊、食物啊，然后让大家可以透过五感的方式，你可以吃得到、摸得到、闻得到，更去理解这个缅甸的文化。
Hot milk tea features prominently on the menu. It's one of the most famous cultural symbols of Myanmar and now a symbol of protest. Following the 2021 coup, many youngsters came together under the hashtag Milk Tea Alliance, named after the shared love for the beverage in Hong Kong, Thailand, Taiwan and Myanmar, a movement in support of democracy.
那其实对于台湾朋友而言，我觉得他有一个机会让大家去关注这件事情。那这个是我们初期做的，后来我们也跟华新街这边的居民们，然后大家共同就是组织了一个台湾生育缅甸联盟，然后后来又就是成立一些协会，然后可能在这个协会里面，我们工作室的角色可能就会是协助大家去举办这些活动，或者是一些比较幕后的工作。
Buddhist monk Nandia has been tracking the exodus from his country since he moved to Taiwan as a student in 2008. He grew up in ethnic conflict-ravaged Rakhine state on the west coast of Myanmar. He is now the abbot at the Panna Parami Meditation Center in Myanmar Street. According to the United Nations, more than 2.6 million people have been displaced in Myanmar in just 3 years. He warns that the junta's recent move to conscript fighters will force many more young people to flee Myanmar.
现在又变成缅甸政府军政府又规定，每个人男女年轻的18岁，女生18岁到27岁内，每个人都要当兵。男生的话，18岁开始到35岁内都要当兵，所以现在又逃命了很多。
Since its independence in 1948, Myanmar has been known as an ethnically divided and religiously fractured country with a history of conflicts, repression and persecution. For nearly 70 years, successive military regimes have kept an iron grip on the nation of more than 100 distinct ethnic groups. They used violence and inter-ethnic and inter-religious conflicts to hold on to power. But after the 2021 coup, for the first time in Myanmar's history, all its leading political parties have put their differences aside to form the National Unity Government.
因为我们的现在是我们在缅甸，是我们 AUG 在做，是从来没有那个团结过的，我们再继续再弄。弄完以后是我们缅甸的那个 Federal Democracy， 我们会做，所以这个打仗打赢以后，我们会最传统的方式，我们还是要还给民主的那个要选举，还是要民主的那个政府，我们会弄。
Ko Ko says he takes inspiration from Taiwan, the freest country in Asia, which once spent nearly 4 decades under a brutal martial law. He knows it will be a long fight for Myanmar, but he believes it will be one that will eventually put the whole country on the path to peace and democracy like never before. With Kerry Khan, Shubhampal for Connected.